What's going on, traders? It's Ricky with TechBot Solution. So just another recap on today's trading. I do want to give a huge shout out to all the members that participated in today's trading. We overall had a pretty successful day when it came to trading a series of different stocks. Today I solely focused on two different stocks that I talked about during pre-market hours, and that was DRYS and NUGT. Snapchat, I'm going to be talking a little bit about that on how it played out today and what's to be expected, and then as well as IPI. So a huge shout out to Rick Everett. He is one that told me to pretty much give my own 2 cents on what I think about IPI, and he actually identified a certain support that I think is very important for you guys to be exposed to. So again, if you guys don't know already, TechBot Solutions is a free group I have, and in a sense, it's a networking group. We help one another, expose to one another to new opportunity, new ideas, like different stocks that can help you grow your watch list. Anytime you have any questions, feel free to ask, any member within the group chat. Just to get a better understanding on what it is that you're thinking of going into. It is a free group. You can join the Facebook group. The link is provided for you down below, so you're going to need to get accepted into the Facebook group. Once you get accepted, we have these series of links, and then this will allow you to go into the certain group chat that best fits your needs. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So one of the first trades that we jumped in was right as the market opened. So I'm going to do I pretty much wanted to show you guys an overall analysis on pretty much how NUGT has been playing out. So what we see is that there's usually a support, really a pretty strong support around the 760 area. As you can see, it likes to bounce there. A really nice resistance around the 793. Today it broke just with that huge volume spike right above that 793, hit highs of about 805. Ended up selling, I'm going to tell you exactly where I ended up selling. I sold at $8, but I'll get back to that later. Again, it bounced here at the support, it came back down, had a support here, again at the 760, which it did before and which it did before as well. So again, just previous trends. And as it was coming down, I told the team, with NUGT what my plan was initially as the market opened. So it went to lows of 750, and that was expected just because of usually as the market opens for NUGT based on the past couple of days, even though if it might be up during pre-market hours, it usually goes down right as the market opens. So that's just kind of like a trend that I've been noticing. So again, right when the market opened, it was right around that 760 support. So I most likely knew it was going to break it. Didn't really know where it was going to bounce. Ended up hitting lows of 749. I caught it on the way up, so I wanted to make sure that I caught it when I was seeing upward momentum, so I don't have to write it down any further. And in doing so, I ended up catching it at $7.60. I shouted it out to the team. A couple traders were able to jump in. I do want to give a huge shout out to Matthew as well. One of our new traders said that he was watching from the sidelines. He congratulated me on my alert for NUGT as it to be very helpful. And he's going to continue to learn and get into the simulation trading so he can get a better understanding on what to expect when trading penny stocks, which I think is a very smart thing to do. So we caught it right at that 760. Hit a resistance, kind of like it did before around that 790 area. Came back down, hit lows of about 765. Didn't break the 760 area, so we cut it at a good point. Ended up picking up, and then that volume just spiked all the way through to the 810. Came back down, and then this is actually did not get alerted because I didn't set my alert to go above $8. So that was my mistake. I should have sold at that 810. Just to get at that peak. It ended up hitting highs of like 11, 12, 8, 11, 8, 12. Ended up stop lossing out at $8. So as NUGT started to rise, I followed with a stop loss. So what that meant was I wanted to lock in my profits that I had from 760. Just in case if all of a sudden there's a huge dip, I can lock in the profits that I've already gained, right? So as the stock continued to rise, I followed with a trailing stop loss of about 10 cents below the market value of wherever it was trading at. And then once it broke to that 810 area, my stop loss was still down here at that 790 area. So I removed that stop loss, moved it to the $8 mark, and as it picked up from about 795, ended up hitting highs of 807, and then ended up stop lossing out at 80, just at $8. So locked in my profits there. It was $160 with my $3,000 vested in NUGT. And then what's to be expected? Well, with this EMA line, it showed that it crossed, showing that downward momentum, picked up again, hit highs of what it previously did, and then it crossed again, and then just brought it all the way down. Now, as it was coming down, what's to be expected? Where is it going to bounce, right? It's not always, most likely based on NUGT's trend. It's not always going to continue to drop. So again, it's all about predicting the bounce based on previous trends. So there was a bounce here at 760, and if we go a little bit further during pre-market hours, there was a bounce there at 760, and as we go a little bit further, there's a pretty good support at 760. So based on previous trends, on what I'm able to see within the past 2 days of NUGT, it's most likely going to bounce at 760, and it did just that. Ended up buying at 760, alerted the team way ahead of that. A couple traders ended up getting a better buy point than I did, so about like 758, 759, and then some started riding it as it was going up, so they were waiting for that upward momentum. Ended up riding it and ended up selling right before the market closed. Stop lossed out at 780 as I followed with the trailing stop loss as it broke above 785, and then just stop lossed out. Locked in the 20 cent of profit per share on that single trade. And overall, just I think did very well with getting in at good points, selling at good points. Could have done a little bit better if I set my alerts. Again, that's my area of improvement, making sure I have those alerts set. But other than that, I think I did handle the NUGT and how it bounced and how it played out today pretty well. So now going into DRYS. This was one that I shut it out during pre-market hours just because of the support that I was able to see here around the 130. It has about 144. I kind of expected there to be a resistance at 140, and I do not know why it didn't sell. If you guys see, the main candlesticks were right around here. It has about like 138, but did end up touching 140. I didn't get alerted that it touched 140 because I actually had my alert set when it goes above $1.40. So I was up 10 cents because of my buy point at $1.30, which I shouted out to the team. A couple traders followed, got in at 131, 132, and then were able to ride it. Some of them actually sold because they were able to identify the resistance at 140. But because of my mistake, I didn't. I had a stop loss at 135 to make sure I could lock in those profits. And I did just that. It ended up stop lossing out, locked in the profits, $115 profit with that trade again with $3,000 vested. And as it continued to come back down, I was trying to buy in again at the support. I knew I had a support around the 129 area, and most likely it was going to continue to drop. I initially bought in with a smaller account. I told them with a smaller amount of 1,500. At $1.29, and as it continued to drop, ended up buying more at 125 as well as 120. 128 was where I bought a little bit more, but I really went a little bit heavier on 125. Ended up selling after market hours at highs of 130. Ended up going up to 132. So I should have actually initially sold when I was up, since I bought in at this period. I should have sold at 134 when I bought in at 129. Since that would have been a better trade overall. But I wrote it all the way down. I just averaged down as it continued to drop, and then wrote it up and then just locked in the profits because I wasn't too sure because of how volatile DRYS was playing out. So that was my trade on DRYS. Ended up trading this one twice and NUGT twice as well. Now the last one that I'm going to talk about is Snapchat. It's not one that I've traded yet, and the reason why it's because I've continuously been talking about seeing a downward trend with Snapchat, and it's a lot of news that's been coming out again. It's all just publicity for those that there's just a lot of hype on Snapchat. I really want that hype to go away before I end up deciding to invest in Snapchat. I want to be able to truly identify the support and the resistance. I mean, it's still been it held over $20 since it's been public, and although the market value for Snapchat was initially $17, we haven't actually seen that actual market price for Snapchat. So I think within this week or these next couple of weeks, we're going to see Snapchat actually show its true colors and might hit $17 or even lower just to identify that true support. And then with that, it will give me a better understanding as a day trader to where the supports and where the resistance areas are, so I can day trade Snap if possible. But again, that's my own 2 cents on Snapchat. The last one, again, what I wanted to talk about IPI, and again, I want to give all credit to Rick Everett, he was a member within our group that actually shouted it out, and this is why I think the group is so helpful, because it exposes you to opportunity and ideas that you would have not been exposed to if it weren't for these thousands of members that we have within TechBud Solutions. And it's all about just exposure, and then you as an investor to truly identify this to have potential. So pretty much what he was able to identify was that this is IPI. It's trading around 179 right now, and you can see it way down here, right? But this is a 3-month analysis, and it has hit highs of a resistance of about $2.54, one that I'm able to identify from here, nearly here, here, and then here on all these candlesticks, and a true support of around $1.80, $1.80, and $1.80. So based on these previous 3 bounces that IPI had, what is expected to happen? Well, based on these previous trends, obviously you want to see signs of upward momentum, but based on these previous trends, it bounces pretty well at 180 and it continues to rise. Does it mean 100% that that's going to happen? No, not at all. I mean, that's your job as an investor, set up a game plan. And like we do with TechBud Solutions, we always, set up a game plan every time that we're going to buy, making sure that we have a plan for success, right? So again, if my decision, as I see upward momentum, to buy IPI, and I can identify the 180 as a true support, then I would say, maybe buying at 180 wouldn't be a bad idea. Understanding that there's most likely going to be a resistance at $2 just because of the dollar value that it has is a good resistance area, and to follow with the trailing stop loss. But overall, it has a true resistance of about $2.54. So that would be the ideal sell point if you want to go long on IPI, and then set a stop loss anything below around 175 to make sure that you don't write it all the way down, just because of what its history might hold. As if it breaks below 179, it could continue to drop. So I want to make sure that's 100% clear. So it has this level of trading between these points that it's been doing pretty well in. So as long as it holds above these points, this is where IPI is going to truly shine within the next couple of days. So that is pretty much my recap on today's trading. I hope you guys found this helpful. And again, if you guys would like to be part of our group, all together with other platforms we have available, we're sitting a little bit over 5,000 members worldwide again. It's a wide band of different members with different experience levels, and it's just a very welcoming group. So if you want to expose yourself to new opportunity and network with like-minded individuals, or want to get into penny stocks and never knew how to get started, again, this is a free group. In getting started, just feel free to ask through the Facebook platform, and then you can join our group chats. I hope you guys had an amazing day. Let's make sure that we continue giving it our all to end the week on a green note. And if you guys haven't done so already, we'd really appreciate the support. If you guys can subscribe and like the video. Thank you guys again, and feel free for those that are getting started to click on these helpful videos, which can give you a better understanding on how to get started when it comes to trading penny stocks. Take care, guys. Have a good night. Baby, don't you let it go to waste.